her the daughter of nobody. Don't let her touch that pot. She brings bad luck.
The laughter echoed across the Umuaka village market as Amara bent down quietly to pick the tomatoes that had fallen from her basket. Amara was 17 years old, thin, dark, always quiet. Her clothes were old but clean. Her mother died when she was 10, and no one knew who her real father was. Some said he was a stranger who passed through the village many years ago. Others said he was a married man who denied her. In Umuaka village, not having a father was a crime. Amara lived in a small mud house at the edge of the village. The roof leaked when it rained. The walls were cracked. But every morning, before the cock crowed, she woke up, fetched water from the stream, gathered firewood, and prepared vegetables to sell in the market. She worked harder than most girls her age. But no matter how good she was, the village people never saw her goodness. One afternoon, while she was arranging her vegetables, Ngozi, the rich palm oil seller's daughter, walked past her. "Amara, did you hear?" Ngozi said loudly. "The chief's son is coming back from the city tomorrow. Maybe he will marry one of us." The girls around laughed. "Certainly not Amara," one of them added. "Who marries a girl with no family name?" Amara pretended not to hear, but her heart hurt. That night, she sat outside her small house and looked at the moon. "Mother," she whispered softly, "why did you leave me alone in this world?" Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she wiped them quickly. She had cried too many times in her life. Tears no longer solved anything. The next day, the village was full of excitement. The chief's son, Obina, was returning from Lagos after many years. People said he was educated, rich, and handsome. Women prepared food, young girls wore their best wrappers, the drummers gathered at the village square. Amara did not go. She stayed at home to sort her vegetables. Big celebrations were not for girls like her. But fate had other plans. In the afternoon, as Amara carried a heavy basket of firewood on her head, her foot slipped on a stone near the village square. The basket fell. The firewood scattered. People turned to look. Some laughed. But before anyone could mock her, a tall young man stepped forward. "Are you hurt?" he asked gently. Amara looked up and froze. The man standing before her was handsome, well-dressed, and different from any village man. His eyes were kind. "I'm fine," she said quickly, trying to gather her wood. He bent down and helped her. The entire village watched in shock. It was Obina, the chief's son, helping Amara. Whispers spread like harmattan fire. Why is he touching her? Does he not know who she is? Obina ignored them. He carried the basket and placed it carefully on her head. "You should be careful," he said softly. Amara could not speak. She nodded and walked away quickly, her heart beating fast. From that day, things began to change. Obina started asking about her. "Who is that girl?" he asked his mother. The chief's wife frowned. "That one? She has no father, no good background. Stay away from her." But Obina was not convinced. He had seen something in Amara's eyes. Strength. Days passed. Each time Amara went to the stream or market, she felt eyes watching her. Not mocking eyes, curious eyes. Obina's eyes. One evening, as she fetched water, he approached her again. "Why does everyone treat you badly?" Amara laughed sadly. "Because I was born wrong." "No one is born wrong," he replied firmly. She looked at him in surprise. For the first time in her life, someone spoke to her like she mattered. But in Umuaka village, kindness has a price, and soon the price would be demanded.
Rumors spread faster than wildfire in Umuaka village. They were talking at the stream. He carried her firewood. The chief's son is falling for the fatherless girl. The gossip reached the chief's palace within days. One evening, Obina was summoned. His father, Chief Okafor, sat on a tall wooden chair, his face hard like carved stone. "I hear you are moving around with that girl," the chief said coldly. Obina stood straight. "Her name is Amara. She has no father, no lineage, no pride. A woman like that cannot step into this palace." Obina's jaw tightened. She has something many people here don't have. And what is that? The chief snapped. Dignity. The word hung in the air like thunder before rain. The chief was furious. You will marry the daughter of Chief Azay from the next village. The arrangement has already been made. Obina's heart sank. An arranged marriage. Meanwhile, Amara noticed the sudden change. Obina stopped coming to the stream. He stopped passing by the market. The space between them grew heavy. One afternoon, Ngozi approached Amara with a wicked smile. "Did you really think he would choose you?" she mocked. "He is getting married next month." The words felt like a knife. That night, Amara cried harder than she ever had, not because she loved Obina deeply, but because she allowed herself to hope, and hope was dangerous. The next morning, she made a decision. She would leave Umuaka village. Before sunrise, she packed her few clothes into a small bag, she locked her mud house, and walked toward the dusty road that led to the city. No goodbye, no tears, just silent strength. 3 years later, a shiny black car drove into Umuaka village. Children ran after it, shouting. Villagers gathered in shock. No one owned such a car in Umuaka. The car stopped in front of the old mud house at the edge of the village, the house that once belonged to the mocked girl. The door opened. A tall, elegant woman stepped out. Her skin glowed. Her dress was simple but expensive. Confidence surrounded her like perfume. It was Amara, but not the same Amara. After leaving the village, she worked as a housemaid in the city. She saved every coin. At night, she attended free lessons organized by a kind teacher. She learned tailoring. Later, she started sewing clothes. Her designs became popular. Slowly, she built her own fashion business. Now, she owned a small company in Lagos. The same villagers who once mocked her stood speechless. Ngozi dropped the tray she was holding. She came back? Someone whispered. Amara did not look angry. She did not look proud. She looked peaceful. Soon, another car entered the village. Obina stepped out. He had refused the arranged marriage. He left the village after Amara disappeared, searching for her for years, but he never found her. Until today. Their eyes met across the crowd. Silence. The same girl they called nothing now stood taller than all of them. The chief himself walked forward slowly. "Amara," he called, his voice no longer proud. She faced him respectfully. "You have done well." No apology, but everyone heard the surrender in his tone. Obina stepped closer. "I never stopped looking for you," he said softly. Amara smiled gently. "I had to find myself first." Tears filled his eyes. The villagers watched as Obina held her hand openly, this time without fear. "The girl everyone mocked," he announced boldly, "is the woman I choose." No one laughed, no one whispered, because success speaks louder than insults. Months later, their wedding was celebrated in the same village square where she once fell with firewood. But this time, the drums beat for her. The same people who mocked her danced at her celebration. And the little mud house at the edge of the village? Amara rebuilt it into a small school for orphaned children because she knew what it meant to feel alone. From that day forward, when parents in Umuaka village warned their children not to mock others, they used her name. "Be careful," they would say. "Today's mocked child may be tomorrow's pride." And the village that once rejected her finally bowed.